Well, how y'all doing? I got another QSP here for you. This is on the heels of the Gannet. This one was kind of an impulse buy when I picked up the other one, and I'm a little surprised by it actually. This is the Parrot, and I picked this up on Blade HQ along with some other stuff. And on their listing, they said this thing is 440C. That's why it was I think it was just shy of $20, like 1988 or something like that. But when I got it and opened it up, I saw that it says D2 clearly on the blade, and I was very confused. And then I checked the box, and sure enough, the box also states that. So at some point, they upgraded these guys from 440C to D2, and Blade HQ just hasn't really kind of upped their game on that. Updating their listing for it. So I was pretty surprised by that. And I gotta tell you, for about a $20 knife, this thing is a great jammy. I'll tell you that much. It's got G10 handles. It's got a little bit of some milling going on there, but a nice, good grippy texture on it. It's not crazy peel ply, but it's got some grip to it. It's got a pocket clip that kind of stays out of the way. It's not deep carry or anything like that, but you're not really having a huge amount stick out of your pocket anyway. And hey, you can actually mount it for left side. Nice. It's got a little cutout for a lanyard. Doesn't really bother me one way or the other. Something that really does amaze me about this thing is the action on this damn thing is just nice. And I say that knowing full well that this thing has basically phosphor bronze washers interfacing on the liners, and then nylon actually interfacing the blade onto that. But man, this thing has just super great action, and this is, with no blade play in it whatsoever. Just fantastic little thing. Let's see, we are basically rocking right around 3 inches. It's probably considered 3/8 to 3 1/4 of an inch, if depending on who you are. Unfortunately, the color of your skin, all that sort of crap. But just rockets out. Reminds me a lot of the CJRB Ria, even though this doesn't have ball bearings on it. It's just so much fun to play with for a $20 knife. The whole fit and finish on it is quite nice. There's no rough edges, blah blah blah, whatever. And they do have quite a nice polish on the blade. Now we do have vertical satin on here, which, makes a lot of sense. That's what most knives are these days. But this is also quite a high polish on it afterwards, so it does actually take a little bit to actually get that out there. The couple of knives that this thing actually reminds me of, even though I think both of those are just a little bit thicker or, taller, would be the first one to come to mind is the Wee Banter. Certainly has that same spear point kind of blade to it. But the other one that I think this one really comes up against is the K-Bar Dozier, since that's also in D2 steel. But it's not using G10. It's using it's either Zytel or another reinforced nylon kind of handle to it, and it's a lockback, whereas this is a liner lock. And because of that, you get a lot better action because lockbacks are a little bit more difficult to get that nice flicking motion out there because you always have pressure on the blade. So there you go. If you can't tell, I am over the moon with this damn thing. Because of the way that it kind of sticks out this way, even though this is basically a 3-inch blade, I can still get a full, nice, comfortable 4-finger grip on that thing, or maybe 3 3/4, but definitely enough that your pinky is actually applying pressure to it. The jimping is just fantastic. I do like these gradual plunge lines. They just look attractive to me. It's more of a personal preference. It probably makes things a little bit more difficult if you're trying to sharpen on a flat stone here, but that's just what it is. So there's also, let's see, I haven't really done a huge amount of measurement on these guys, but yeah, we're basically looking at 2.95 to 3 millimeter blade stock, so not super thick, so nice and slicey. Fantastic for this form factor and everything. Let's see, and we're coming in. It's basically nice and flat at just basically around a half an inch. I think it was just slightly over, right around there. So yeah, not too thick. Obviously it doesn't have all that much contouring going on. I mean, it's got the edges knocked down. It's not pointing like a PM2 or anything like that. But yeah, it does a decent enough job of really locking into the hand really comfortably. The pocket clip, while it doesn't look like the most durable thing in the world, certainly does its job, and it stays out of the way, so I don't really get much of a hot spot off of it, which is fantastic. Let's see. It's probably not going to be the lightest thing in the world. Yeah, 3.23 ounces, or 91.5 grams or so. So it's just slightly over that ounce and inch mark that a lot of people will look to. That's fairly difficult to do in steel and G10, but hey, there you go. So I can go ahead and take a look on the inside of this here, since I like to do that with a lot of my stuff. And the pocket clip does need to come off. No, it doesn't actually. Because this just mounting into here. Cool. So we got T6 for all the main hardware, and then a T8 for the pivot. That's the word I'm looking for. So there's those two. And there's that. I've put some Loctite on there. That's why you get that little crustiness going right through there. Come on, buddy. Oh, there we go. It exploded on me. But, alright, so yeah, you have the nylon washers that interface directly with the blade, and then you got your phosphor bronze washers there that interface with the liners there. You can certainly see there's pretty much nothing going on in the way of skeletonization. It certainly makes sense for this price point. Yeah, I mean, for $20, it's just a fantastic little jammy. Really happy with this guy. I didn't think I was going to be quite as happy with this as some of the others that I picked up in that order, but this seems to be the one that I've gravitated to the most. I guess for some people, the blade being kind of changed out to D2 from 440C might upset them. Something like Frankie, who really doesn't like D2 due to I don't know. She has bad luck with it. A lot of her knives end up rusting or whatever. I don't know if she has particularly acidic sweat, which can happen. Happens a lot with guitar and bass players ruining their strings really early, just because they have really corrosive sweat and their hands and fingers kind of get that way. But yeah, something that I would actually love to see them do in the future, which probably won't happen because hey, this is just what it is, as kind of do a little bit of a remodel on this. Ideally, well, no, I could stick with basically the liners being proud on there. But doing a little bit of skeletonization, and then possibly having the option for micarta or something like that, because QSP, from my experience on their knives, does a fantastic job at their micarta. I usually do this on a mat. I think maybe in that giant explosion of the knife that I left the pivot screw on my screwdriver instead. It's not all the way through. Something you end up running into with a lot of barrel spacer things is sometimes it is difficult to fully get those things to snap into place while not really causing any other issues with getting the pivot up there. So yeah, but if I actually push the pivot all the way through, it would be kind of nice just for us nerds to actually take things apart to have a little bit snugger fit on the blade stop pin there. But that's not the case. Come on, buddy. Not quite sure what it's getting caught up on. You can see just a little proud over there once I set that on top. Good stuff. Makes for good content when somebody suffers. These nylon washers, a lot like cold steel, they are very thin and flimsy, so you don't really want to disrupt them any more than you absolutely have to. Otherwise, yeah, you can compromise a little bit of your action. And ain't nobody like to compromise on their action. At least I don't. I had nowhere near this much of an issue when I was disassembling and putting them back together the other day. I don't believe we have a D-shaped pivot going on here either. So, oh, we do. Apparently, I wasn't paying attention to that, but yeah, we do have a little bit of a D-shaped pivot going on here. There we go. So, my apologies for being an absolute moron. It happens. More often than not with me, unfortunately, but at least I'm willing to learn from my mistakes. Okay. What do you know? It goes together now. Alrighty, so there's the pivot on there. I'll just close him up so I don't have to worry about myself getting cut. I haven't sharpened this guy yet, but I actually do plan on doing that fairly soon. I do like to play around with knives a little bit with their factory edges just to kind of get a good, nice sense of that. And yeah, how about if I go ahead and A lot of times when I'm putting a knife back together, I will keep the blade open and then slowly adjust the pivot until I don't have any play. There's just a little tiny bit of play going on there, so I'll do a little micro turn. Hey, there you go. And there we go. Even a dumb monkey like myself can actually put this thing back together. As long as I understand that triangle doesn't go in the circle hole, then we're all good. But I'm over the moon by this $20 knife. It's crazy. I don't know. I love it. It's really fun to play with. Very functional to cut with. I like the finish on the blade, especially when I don't have fingerprints all over it. It doesn't have the horizontal Saturn patterning going on, but I know that takes more effort to actually get done. So you're not really going to see that in a really cheap knife. But hell yeah, that's if you do like that spear shape, like the Wee Banter or the K-Bar Dozier, then this guy is certainly a contender. Especially if you're looking for something that might be a little more standard normal hand sides EDC sort of thing going on there. Then yeah, and because this guy, along with the K-Bar Dozier, uses washers instead of bearings, then you don't really have to worry as much about dirt and grime and lint and whatnot getting in there and messing up your action. So yeah, that's basically everything I have to say about the QSP Parrot. Other than, I guess, the new stock that they have in at Blade HQ is using D2 steel rather than 440C that's listed on their website. So it's a bit of an upgrade, which I think makes this thing a damn nice, just kind of a beater knife there. And like I've been doing, it's super fun to play with. Alright, well, this has gone on a lot longer than I intended to with this one, but what are you going to do? What I'd like for you to do is, that whole like, comment, subscribe thing that YouTube wants everybody to promote. But, that's only if you really feel like it. Otherwise, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo.